morning, YouTube. This is Ty Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are having a good start to the morning and a good start to the weekend. Depending on where you are, you might have been woken up by some thunder last night or disturbed by some thunder. I certainly was myself, but things look like they were really active last night around Arkansas. Towards Jonesboro, we actually had a tornado emergency issued, and there were a multitude of tornado reports, and there was a report of a large and extremely dangerous tornado. If you look back on the video a couple of days ago, I remember bringing up that area had some tornado potential. It was relatively underplayed and caught a lot of the weather community off guard. But I kind of saw something in the hordeographs that said it was possible. I don't think anyone expected a tornado emergency, though. But enough rambling about that. We do have more severe weather in line for today and tomorrow. So I'm going to briefly go over those real quick. Before I get into it, I'm going to ask you guys if you would like, comment, subscribe, and share the videos. Trying to get this channel to grow. Try to get more of this information out ahead of time before these storms arrive, so that way people are better prepared. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Gotta love the early morning flame, baby. So we have the convective outlook for yesterday's slight risk still ongoing. We have our MCS that's moved from that slight risk and has now worked its way into the southeast. Atlanta, Birmingham, Montgomery, and Huntsville were all getting some heavy rains, a couple rumbles of thunder. And then right around here, we still have a severe thunderstorm watch, and we still have quite a few strong storms in play here. Most of them have exited the slight. Most of them look like they're exiting the slight risk area now, or at least this one is. Then these storms look a little bit interesting. That'll be fun to watch a little bit later. And we'll go right to today's convective outlook. And as you can see, this pushes a little bit further south. It's not too far from where it is now. I do think those storms will play a part in that. Tornado threat's low. It's a little bit more they've expanded the 2% area a little bit more. Little Rock, you're still in play, but I think it'll be earlier in the day for you guys when you have your severe weather threat. Just about at this point, most of Oklahoma is going to be out of it. Far eastern Texas, you still might have a little bit of severe weather into the middle of the day and into the evening. And then the further south we go, I think the timing is going to be later. But of course, Jackson, Alexandria, Shreveport, and Greenville, Mobile as well. You guys have known that you've been in play. I've been talking about you guys for the last couple of days. Wind threat's definitely the highest. Wind threat is definitely the biggest threat, and it's also why we have our slight risk. It's our 15% area right here, and it encompasses all of our slight risk area. Then we have 5% going all the way towards the Texas-Mexico border and pushing all the way up towards Wilmington, North Carolina, and all areas in between are covered. New Orleans is just outside the 5, and Tallahassee and Jacksonville are within the 5, as well as Panama City. And this barely stays south of Atlanta and barely encompasses Birmingham. So we'll be on the watch for some high winds today. Hail threat's no different, but there is no higher threat. It's just a 5%. So be on guard, because all hazards seem possible. Not the highest numbers, but as we saw yesterday, you don't need to have a moderate or high risk for chaos to unfold here. We go tomorrow, and this slight risk area looks like it just moves further and further south. Now Jackson, Shreveport, Greenville, and Alexandria, just woke up actually. And Mobile, now you guys are in the slight risk. New Orleans, you're a little bit outside of it. I'll be interested to see how this evolves. You may end up in it tomorrow, for all I know. But marginal risk is actually smaller here, which is a good thing. Tallahassee, maybe Panama City are in this. Columbus, you're just outside of it. Lufkin, you're in this one. It's a little bit further to the west, but not by much. But this area is a lot smaller than a lot of the areas we've been seeing lately, which is a good sign. We may be on the downtick here. So for this very small tornado threat area, it could expand. We'll take a look at that momentarily, but basically the three cities that I keep on talking about, Shreveport, Jackson, and Greenville, you guys are in it again. Same thing with the slight risk, 15% chance of high wind damage, and then all of our marginal risk area is covered with a 5%. And then, interestingly enough, I mentioned it yesterday. We do have a hatched risk area for the northern end of the the northern end of the slight risk. Basically, meaning that we have a 15% chance of hail greater than 2 inches in diameter, which is getting towards baseball size. So definitely be leery of that. So onward we move. We'll take a look at day 3 just because, and it's time to celebrate because guess what? There's no severe weather forecasted for Sunday, or Monday, excuse me. Sorry if I sound so bad to you guys. I often have a few problems with morning phlegm. I'm trying to work on that. If you have any solutions for me, please let me know because I'm sick of this. But yeah, there's no severe weather Monday. So a lot of us in the weather community will get a little bit of a break here. That'll be nice. Still some thunderstorms forecast, but we'll get into that tomorrow maybe. Might do a longer range forecast for Monday's video. We'll see what happens. So let's take a look at the HRRR, see what the radar could look like over the whole nation. Dang. A lot of phlegm going on right now. We'll look at it over the next 11 hours. This model hasn't really finished its update cycle, so I don't have the full 18-hour range. We'll just use the NAM for the rest of it. But I mean, I've pretty much gone over Saturday already, so we don't need to see the whole thing. So we can see clearly here. We have this low, this upper level low. It's going to be prompting snow and rain in the Sierra Mountains and in the corresponding valleys. And then right around here, around the south, around the deep south here, we have the MCS here for the southeast, and then towards Arkansas, we have what is going to be our next MCS that's going to be causing more severe weather later today. So we're going to watch these features move off to the south and east. I think later in the day, that's when I think business starts to pick up around southern. I think the area is a little bit further south than what they're depicting for severe weather. But right around here, I think is going to be the area of interest for storms. I think there's going to be a few high wind reports. I don't expect this to be a widespread severe weather event. Just like yesterday really wasn't. It was just pretty much consolidated down to Arkansas, especially the tornado threat. I think the Arkansas-Louisiana border is going to be the area of greatest interest. You might get a few storms on the western half of Mississippi, but we'll just have to wait and see. We see this line of storms move further and further to the south, and that's the end of our model run. Meanwhile, we have this little cheeky low pressure that sneaks up, may cause some snow on the interior northeast. So that's our Saturday forecast. All right, we got 1 more hour. Might as well take it. No, actually, it looks like it kind of brings some rain, and maybe on the backside we might get some snow. All right, so let's actually take a little bit of a closer look at the severe weather threat for Sunday. So we're getting into the overnight hours here, and we can clearly see that we're already in the 70-degree range for the coastal areas around that slight risk. We look like we get close to 80, and some places do make 80. So this will be really interesting to see how this unfolds here. Dynamics most likely are going to be around where that slight risk is based off of what I've been reading from the National Weather Service. I'm not going to bore you with that, so we're just going to keep this going forward. And this lasts all the way until the late evening hours. I think the threat dies out pretty quick though. And by Monday, of course, we're clear. And around southern Georgia, we're warm. May get a marginal risk out of it. Hard to say, but let's go to the dew point map. All right, so we're just gonna wait for this to load in the meantime. But also you can peep the dew points for today too in this area. It's pretty crazy here. There's a lot of low-level moisture, a lot of rich moisture available around this area. So even if you don't get a tornado, there could be some very nasty straight line winds here, especially around Louisiana. Because we're getting dew points in the 70s all the way up into the northern tiers of the state, which is crazy. So you can tell that our line's right about here because the dew points suddenly start to drop into the 50s right here. And then you notice the drop off begin to develop around here as well. So this is going to be a late evening threat most likely. We'll watch this real close. Then Sunday, we watch this moist sector redevelop, push a little bit further to the east, and then to the late evening hours, our threat takes shape, and then before we know it, Monday comes, things quiet down. And then by late Monday, those dew points finally start to drop off a little bit, and we get a little bit of a break here. So now let's get this set up. We'll look at that later. I'm going to take a look at the low-level jet next. Here's hoping that this map properly works, because I always have problems with this low-level jet map. Can't stand it. So far, it seems like it's compliant. So right now, we do have a low-level jet flirting with the 40 knot flirting with the 40 knots region. Wow, I can't speak right now. Note to self: don't do this while waking, like just after waking up. So around this region, we are flirting with the 40 knots, a 40 knot jet, and we're just waiting for this to load so we can see whether it progresses to it. There we go. It doesn't really seem like it gets there. So that limits the tornado threat, of course, which is something I'm sure a lot of people in this area are not complaining about, and I'm not either, because I'm tired of seeing people get hit around here. Well, really just people in general, but still. So we watched this low-level jet start to kick back up late into Sunday evening. Nothing impressive though. We're hitting 30. Might be a spot that hits 40 knots, but it's not going to be much of anything to deal with. Maybe around central Mississippi might be an area of interest, but I'm not really expecting a whole lot out of it. I think there is a marginal tornado risk. Instability is not the greatest. Dew points are definitely there, so we'll just have to keep watch over this real close into the late evening and overnight hours. Watch this move further to the east, and then before we know it, things look like they start to die down. You do have this low-level jet that kicks up again on Monday, but there will be no storms with this, so you don't have to worry about this if you live in Arkansas or any of these areas where we have this 30-knot jet. I do think there is some potential for a marginal risk around southern Georgia on Monday. Hopefully I haven't spoken too soon on the no severe weather Monday, but still very possible. We'll keep a close eye on it, of course, here. And we've reached the end of our model run. Let's run through this cape real quick. So we'll set the loop here and just watch it go. So this is how our cape collapses, merges on early Sunday morning into the afternoon. So we're getting into the early afternoon hours Sunday, and we do get some sufficient capes here. We're getting toward, this is going to be a cape dominant type event. Definitely getting towards that 2,000, 3,000 joules. Not surprising given the fact that we have such high dew points and temperatures around this region. So it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds. I'm kind of thinking this is going to be more of a linear event. On the backside of this, I do think, but on the backside of this, I do think there could be a few embedded tornadoes. Then by Monday, we lose a lot of that cape until we get to South Georgia. I'm telling you, I think there's going to be a marginal risk issued for this area tomorrow. So just wait to see how this unfolds. I'd rather honestly be wrong on this, but it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I don't expect there to be, there's no real point, I feel like, in looking at the STP, because the significant tornado threat just really isn't there. So we're just going to keep this rolling and look at the reflectivity, see what the radar could be looking like over the next couple of days. And then we'll be done with this video. I'm not going to hold you up too much longer. I do feel like this has been taking a minute. So we're sitting at 16 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this below 20. So this is our, as I said before, MCS is rolling through right now. I said before, here's our MCS rolling through the southeast right now. A few stronger storms look like they try to develop in Alabama. Don't get a lot out of it. And then right around here might be a couple of stronger storms, maybe a marginal severe threat here. Nope, not even that. That's all. I'm not complaining there. See a line of storms, definitely looking like a linear event. Maybe around here you might get a few discrete cells and a quick little spin up tornado. Hopefully we don't have a surprise like we did last night. Yeah, this one definitely looks linear. I don't know which one I'd rather have though. I would rather not have either if I had to deal with one, whether it be straight line damaging winds or a weak tornado. It's pretty much the same thing. It can still damage your house in the same manner. I don't know. Some ways damaging winds are worse. So we move further along into Sunday, and this is our next MCS that's rolling through. And on the southern end of this is where we expect severe weather to unfold. It's going to be a late night event. Do see a few discrete supercells based off of the NAM right now. I don't see much of a curvature on the hordeograph, which is good news. We do have instability though, so. And then this low pressure pops up here. I'll be interested to see what this does, because between where that low level jet is and there you go, between where the low level jet was and where that upper level low is, there's always spin with that upper level low. And with there being spin and shear, you kind of get directional, you get what's called directional shear, and you end up having rotation. So there's some storms that are that may be able to take advantage of that on late Sunday night around Mississippi in particular. It's a marginal tornado threat, and it doesn't seem like it's going to last very long. And then into the overnight, we're going to lose a lot of the daytime heating. And then if we watch this hordeograph, that's pretty much going to be proof. Sitting at 57 degrees. It's going to be a severe threat, but it's not going to be a super high severe threat. No damaging winds, probably just damaging winds. This stuff down here looks really interesting, and there we are. And this is more than sufficient enough for a tornado threat. Look at this lapse right here. Capes are high around this time, so this could be an overnight tornado threat here from the looks of it around southern Mississippi. So definitely be on guard. Don't get blindsided and don't get complacent. So stay weather aware. Don't be scared. Be prepared. That's my saying here in this channel. But by Monday morning, these storms do start to lose some of their luster here, and we'll just watch Monday really closely, and I'll have a video about that probably tomorrow. But this is all I got for you guys.